Yes, legends, how is everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic today. Let's analyze the situation for the price of Bitcoin, getting a nice little bounce from that drop that we had yesterday, guys. Is this going to go to higher levels? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Will we fill that CME futures gap? Let's go, legends. How is everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic, guys. Hope you're having a massive weekend, guys, with family and friends. Let's go, legends. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let's put a little bit of background music here and say hello to the beautiful community. Let's go. First of all, comment section, guys. As always, comment section is the first thing that we need to do, guys, in the live stream to say hello to the beautiful community. Let's go. Right. What's going on, legends? How's everybody doing? The dim. Let's go. Hi, hi, hi. Good morning, bro. And to all, says Maku. I was waiting for you live all day, says MMA Shorts. How are you doing, my brother? Much love to you. I am here, okay? I will go through comment section later on quite a lot, guys, but we need to discuss the different scenarios for Bitcoin. We did get that nice little cheeky bounce, and that cheeky bounce happened at one of my favorite levels, guys. This was discussed throughout the last, 10 days. How long we've been in this range, guys? I've lost count. Since the 14th, 15th of July, it's been almost 2 weeks right now that we've been in this range. So, yeah, I mean, this was eventually, guys, one of the main levels that we do talk about on the stream, right? It's like, you know, this is the bread and butter, guys. It's the 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗽 level, right? High volume candle with a cheeky higher low, right? There you have it, guys. You know, got a significant bounce of, you know, over $3,000 right now as we speak. It's always good for a nice scalp long, day trade long, if you are confident on your higher time frame analysis like myself for new all-time highs. Potentially in the next coming days, guys, let's see, right? Well, you know, take it as you wish, but this is a zone that we do talk about many times, right? High volume candle with a higher low. You know, most of the times, for me, it's, you know, I've been back testing these kind of, you know, swing failure pattern higher lows with high volume candles. It's like extremely highly likely that you do get that bounce, guys, from this level, right? We've been talking about this, you know, I mean, this is the overall projection, right? For the moment, we are getting this bounce. Let's see, legends, okay? Everything pointed out that this is corrective. It still points out that this is corrective. We are bears are losing probabilities, you know, since we were trading in this area already. And this was explained throughout the last 10 days, right? Yeah, we can be rangy and it can be very boring. Yes, we can revisit the lows, but getting a successful breakdown is highly unlikely, guys. Getting a successful breakdown is highly unlikely. The breakdown is highly unlikely. This right over here, highly unlikely. We don't want to be too confident yet, guys. I mean, obviously there is some bearish case scenarios. A lot of CME gap fillers out there, guys. Smash up the like button if you're a CME gap filler. Do you think that CME gap is going to be filled? I did do a poll in the Telegram asking the people, you know, are we going to fill up the gap? I think it was there was 3 answers to that poll. And one of them was fill the gap and then get the bounce. Over 45% of people, you know, voted that the gap is going to get filled. I understand on the channel that the top of the gap and filling the gap provides support. If you are trading based on gap filling, guys, it's, you know, like I said, we could get to all-time high and fill the gap later on, okay? I'm actually in favor of this scenario, and I will explain it on the higher time frames. But top of the gap provides support. Filling the gap also provides support. Top of the gap provided support, legends. Getting that bounce at one of the most important technical levels when I analyze the charts. High volume candle, higher low. It's the 𝗖𝗆𝘆𝗽𝗽 level, guys. You know, it's just it's a level that you know, I can't say never fails, but it does very well most of the times. So, I mean, we got a significant bounce already, right? So, we're going to be analyzing the situation, legends, here on, you know, the different scenarios. We still lean on that there's low probability and moving to the downside. But, you know, I was just pretty much confident on that scenario, you know, over a week ago. Of course, the range can continue. Of course, we can revisit the lows, okay? It's very much a scenario. This whole thing about filling the CME gap, guys, the main reason, right? Let's just go and do a gap tutorial here, guys, okay? Let's do a CME gap tutorial because there are some pretty insane fanatics from the CME gap. First of all, let's go through the comment section and say hello to the beautiful community. And then we'll go and do a CME gap tutorial here, guys, in about 2 minutes. It's simple, it's easy. You know, the sooner you understand it, the better trader you are going to be. It's pumping quietly with low volume, but yeah, this is very common for the weekend. Solomo, can Fala do a 5x? Absolutely, my friend. I do believe so. It will do a 5x plus in the next coming months. Hold on tight. Just a matter of being patient. 𝗞𝗍, my man, the legend himself, is here, guys. If you don't know who 𝗞𝗍 is, let me just give a quick shout out to 𝗞𝗍 because he's here in the comment section. The absolute legend. CBM, let's go right away. And give you this shout out, my man, okay? He's an absolute legend. If you don't know who he is, guys, make sure to follow him right away because he provides insane content, okay? I was going to post it here, but we might as well post it right over here because that's not my YouTube channel. Okay, there he is. CBM 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗁, shout out to this legend right away. Much love to you, brother. Okay, he is here in the comment section, guys. Make sure to go and check him out. Hello to everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Yes, finally, Adam, much love to you. Ghost, 100k BTC. Yeah, maybe not soon, okay? Maybe not soon. I do think that Bitcoin will get dead below 100k in the future, okay? But not quite yet. Not quite yet, in my personal opinion. It is pumping quietly, yes, sir. Ghost of Bricks, it's still over the wave 1 to complete wave 4 to continue to wave 5. We'll go through that scenario, my man, okay? We'll go through the higher time frames. Hey, Justin, how are you doing? Justin Trades here. Let's go. Andy, let's get some profits. Why am I? Yeah, absolutely. We need to bank some profits without a doubt. We're hitting a little bit of an interesting level, right? This is like a zone that you would want to, I know a lot of people would want to short, right? We're hitting that point of control from this entire range right now. Yes, we reclaimed the Valley area low, not surprised. But then right now we're literally at the point of control, right? So it's like, yeah, this is going to form another lower high. It's going to be bearish, right? It's going to be bearish. And I'm not a huge fan here. This is slowly grinding up. We're reclaiming some levels. And my overall general idea, guys, this is overall with my analysis is, doing something like this. You take that with a pinch of salt, legends, and, you can discuss whatever you want. But I'm, pretty much confident with my analysis. Whoever wants to short, we did provide some short trades with last week. This was an acceptable short trade, without a doubt. I was very much aware of the price rejecting here from this lower high, Valley area high. You should be out of that trade already. We did say in the Telegram community, if you getting into this short position on the rejection of 120k, we did explain very clearly why this could get rejected and actually come down and visit the lows. You should be out of that trade already, right? That's a scalp day trade short position. It did take a few days to develop. However, okay, should be out. It's fine to short the market, but you just want to be taking your profits, right? Take your profits, right? A lot of people probably holding some short positions to fill that CME gap. This gap could get filled later on, guys. We could hit 130k and fill the gap later on, okay? But, a lot of people, these comment sections on YouTube, on, many places, right? Even on polls, CME gap. Let's do that gap tutorial, guys. Gaps do not need to get filled. They do not need to get filled. There is one simple reason why gaps, 95% of the gaps you give, or 96, whatever you want to call the percentage, gets filled. Do you know why? Why gaps get filled 95% of the time, guys? Okay, say that we're having a few gaps here. Tell me why the gaps 96% of the times get filled. Because the market moves up and down. Look how many gaps there are here, right? Gaps get filled because the market moves up and down. It does not need to fill the next day or next week. That's it, right? There are a few gaps down below, guys. There's one at 9k, there's one at 20k. They do not need to get filled, okay? They do provide support. I like gaps because they provide support or resistance. Top of the gap, support. And it was a perfect confluence as well with that higher low right over here, right? With that higher volume candle that we've been talking about for over a week right now. So that's giving you a high probability bounce. It was provided here on stream. Let's go right away through. That was the gap tutorial, guys. There's nothing much more to talk about the gaps. I love CME. I love gaps, guys. Not CME gaps. I love filling gaps, but not the CME ones, right? If you know where I'm going. I love filling gaps, but particularly they're not the CME ones. So let's go right away and we'll go through what are the different scenarios. Bullish as 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗁 CBM. We're going to be going through the different probabilities, okay, on Bitcoin. As mentioned, I'm mainly long, guys. I'm mainly long, several longs. Just a little joke there, guys, to spice up the stream, okay? Just a little joke there to spice up the stream. Hope there's no females watching. Anyway, let's go right away through the scenarios, guys. I mean, we can cover the bearish ones first of all, which I see very low probability. Been talking about this low probability breakdown for over a week now, over 10 days, that it is filling the gap or not, guys, the CME gap or not, it doesn't matter. That a breakdown here is highly unlikely. And you might think, but how is, this insane amount of liquidity down there? There's insane amount of liquidity down here. There's also insane amount of liquidity heading up to all-time high, guys, above 120k. Don't get me wrong here. There's lots of liquidity up and there's lots of liquidity down. We'll be going through Elliott wave theory, which is the most powerful, tool that you can use, right? Well, it's not a tool, it's knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, right? This is the beauty of Elliott wave theory. If you try and look for Elliott wave theory on indicators or on ChatGPT, they're going to say a big fat mess, okay? Try and post a chart on ChatGPT and say to ChatGPT, do the Elliott wave count from this move of the last 4 or 5 weeks. And it's going to do a mess, guys. Artificial intelligence, yeah, it's very good, but for some things you need knowledge, right? And that's why I've asked a few times on ChatGPT, right? Give me your opinion on, what the counts. And oh my goodness, I might have a screenshot here somewhere, guys. But if I show you what ChatGPT told me, ChatGPT, I need to find the screenshot. I will save it for the next stream. But in this zone, it told me that it was starting a bearish trend and that we were looking for a wave 3 down. No joke, guys. I will get that screenshot. I'm not going to look for it now. I tell you what, I might look for it right now, guys. Why not? Because you might think I'm going to Photoshop it. But yeah, let's see. Anyway, I should have got this ready. Yeah, it's probably here. I do use ChatGPT a lot, guys. It doesn't matter. I'll share it. And I'll refresh it just so you see I'm not joking, guys. Anyway, nobody cares about that right now. It's just my opinion that I wanted to say here on the stream and something that I checked it out. So, going through the Elliott wave scenarios, guys, on the higher time frame. It's pretty interesting because a new wave has developed. A new wave has developed since the 23rd of June, right? We need to go from the lows of a range, right? The lows of a corrective structure in this case, because it was a 3-wave structure. We were very long since these lows, guys. This is where, I made significant gains, paid for more than my summer holidays with that move to the upside throughout the end of June, which was absolutely awesome. Especially with this one as well. Was still long in this area over here, expecting that breakout. So going through this scenario, for the moment we have a 3-wave move up here. For the moment, in my understanding, looking at the chart, there is a 3-wave move to the upside. Of course, we'll be going through the lower time frames right now. To finish a 3-wave move up, I mean, it is fine if you are going to be forming some kind of a flat. If you have this high, massive, I prefer to count this as an impulse. If you have a 3-wave move down and a 3-wave move up, you can move down aggressively to the lows and form an ABC flat. However, this move up has extended way far from the B wave targets considering Fibonacci. Most common areas in between the 1236 from your A wave and the 1382. This went beyond the 1.618. Beyond the 1.618, which is, I'm not even considering it, guys. This is why, this is something that we do not talk about. If you have a zigzag here and a zigzag up, you want to top out between the 1236, 1382 zone, right? Preferably you don't hit it. Most of the times you don't hit that 1.618. And then you get that aggressive 5-wave down and you form an ABC flat. So, and finishing a structure finishing an uptrend powerful structure in a 3-wave move to get a devastating correction down is, considering Elliott wave theory, it is not possible. The main reason why is because you want to finish in a 5-wave, some kind of a 5-waver, regardless if it's a contracting one or if it's a normal impulse, right? You want to finish then and then bear market, right? You want to finish the wave to the upside in a 5-wave structure. So when we do take a look, is the stream all good, guys? Price of Bitcoin has literally gone stuck here. Got stuck here for a few minutes, not moving a single bit. I'm not sure if it's the internet or there's just no volume. So yeah, there we go. It's moving now. Considering that scenario, there should be some kind of another wave to the upside to finish. There is one bearish case. Well, it's a bullish case, but local bearish case that you do get another leg down here. If you were to move down into this territory, guys, I would say that we are very, very close to topping out. Bitcoin will be close in topping out, and I would be very skeptical about the crypto bull run. I will expect another all-time high, but if we do come down as low as this area, finishing a 3-wave move up, I need to start believing that we're forming, this could be a double zigzag as well. Okay, you got a zigzag down, you got a 3-wave structure up right now. And if we do pull back down below the 112, 110K level, right, and it gets a significant pullback, I'm going to be very, 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 very skeptical about the bull run really, continuing to much higher levels. And the main reason why is because I will no longer see this as a strong impulse. This will no longer look like a strong impulsive move to the upside, right? We need to continue. We need to maintain this 100 and, give or take 116, 114K zone, 113 max as a higher low to continue this strong uptrend momentum. The moment you get down to this zone, you're invalidating a wave 4 for a wave 5, and we need to start looking for different things. Now, I don't see an ABC flat happening because your B wave has extended massively, which is decreasing the probabilities on the higher time frame for this to even happen. So if we do correct down, I do see eventually the highs, previous all-time highs, if we were to get down to 112, 110, right, getting a bounce. But what I would be looking at here is a possible contracting diagonal for the end of the bull run, to get the last leg up, regardless if we hit 130 or 135. Your 5th wave cannot be longer than the 3rd wave, so I would be expecting it to top out before 137. I mean, this is only things I'm not leaning on this scenario, guys, at all. But I would have to come to that conclusion that if we break down to $110,000 range, below 112K basically, I would change completely my perspective on this bull run. I will be very much aware that we could be in the last stages, which we are really in the next coming months, but I do think that we do have some more bullishness to have in the next coming months, just because the structure is bullish, just because the volume, the movements to the upside are incredibly impulsive compared to the movements down. So we cannot be bearish with these movements to the downside for the moment. I've been very much vocal about this throughout the last few weeks and months, right? So I don't think that's going to happen till the market proves me otherwise. When the market does get that leg down, and this is where we're going to analyze this local structure, guys. Okay, bear with me. I don't go through higher time frames a lot of the times, but I have to. just for education purposes, this is very, very corrective for the moment till proven otherwise. Bears are losing probabilities more and more and more till we actually pump out and hit all-time highs. Then it's like you're just very much aware of this analysis. So I think it's time to dive in through the lower time frames. Analyze this range, right? Let's analyze this range together. The overall general idea is that we're still in bullish market structure. The trend is up. The trends to the downside are extremely corrective, and the movements to the upside are incredibly bullish. I can count 3 waves for the moment. The highest amount of volume is in this wave over here. So in a bullish trend, you just need to go with a trend, guys, right? You need to go with the trend because the trend is your friend. This is the general idea that we've had, for quite some time right now, right? Where is this 4th wave going to finish? That's when we're going to get into, the local price action now in the next coming minutes. The movements to the downside, extremely corrective, extremely corrective. This is also being counted as a correction, since we were trading in this area. 3-wave structure for the moment. Guys, you got 1 low from the rejection of all-time high, 1 lower high, and 1 lower low. All-time high, 1 low, 1 lower high, 1 low. 3-wave structure. 3-wave structure at the moment. And this is, could this be the moment, right? Yeah, but we need to fill the gap. Well, you take it as you wish, guys, okay? It's all about, I'm not here to be right or wrong. I'm just here to make you understand what is the highest probability scenario, where the price could reject, where the price could bounce, and that's what I'm here for. Let's go through the local price action. Eventually, you always have to have a bearish case, guys, and my bearish case on the higher time frame would be counting this as some kind of a very, very steep double zigzag down, zigzag up, and a zigzag down, which eventually I would be looking for support and get another zigzag bounce up to form that larger contracting diagonal. But for the moment, we're not even gonna really take this into consideration till future price action that comes down to the level. So we're leaning mainly bullish. Analyzing this structure, we had many scenarios, guys. It is what it is. In a 4th wave, an Elliott wave theory, if you do have the knowledge, you understand that 4th waves can be the most complex corrective waves. Very, very complex, and they're very difficult to navigate. Very, very difficult, right? The previous higher time frame wave 4 that we had was back in 2024. This was very, very, very complex. Very, very complex, guys. Right? Zigzag down here, a possible running flat right over here, a triangle here squeezing out, right, to then get the breakout. You got a little bit of a triangle situation here. They're just very, very volatile and very overlappy, ending up with a nice leg to the upside. So this is currently what we could be looking at, which we were very much aware ever since we were trading, in this zone, that we could be ranging. This movement down to form a V-shaped recovery is highly unlikely, guys, based on time. It's very one-leggy down, so the range continuation is very much expected, as mentioned, throughout the previous 1 to 2 weeks, right? We're looking at, different type of corrective moves, and this movement down obviously being unlikely. So let's map the situation here right now, because, the bearish case scenario is like it's pretty ridiculous in my opinion. You know, I'm just going to point one out just for the sake of it, because we need to have some kind of a bearish case, right? My most bearish case scenario that was explained throughout the last week, my most bearish case scenario was coming down to sweep up the lows here at 115k. And you know, getting the breakdown was highly unlikely. This was the most bearish case scenario that we had throughout the previous days, right? So guess what? We hit the level and we got an epic bounce. You know, I'm not surprised, guys. This was very much anticipated. So let's go right away and discuss the bearish case, right? Let's just discuss the bearish case, right? You know, what kind of bearish case to get a successful breakdown would we need right now, right? You know, just trying to figure out the idea of, you know, what would be the bearish case, even though we're running out, guys. I just have to make one up. So if we do see this leg down as your, you know, leading move to the downside, regardless if it's an A wave or it's a wave 1, you just need to label this as, you know, wave 1 or wave A, just because it's the most obvious, you know, steep movement down. As mentioned on the previous week, guys, you know, that there is definitely a problem right now with all of this mess. There is a big problem, guys. Big problem for the bears right now. If you see this as your corrective wave, zigzag, easy, right? Wave 2 or wave B. Okay, fine. This leg to the downside should have gained some steam last week. It should have gained some steam by the beginning of the week or end of last week. It should have started breaking down, guys. It didn't do that. As it didn't do that, probabilities already inside of this range were highly likely that a successful breakdown was not going to happen. A successful breakdown, testing the lows, is something that we were very much aware, guys, okay? So, you know, going through the education here, guys. Wave 1, wave 2. This movement to the downside, not a nice impulsive move to the downside, I have to say. It's not great to count an impulse, right? Because you got this wave 1, 2, 3, right? And then you have this nice bounce over here that's overlapping your wave 1. Then you get this choppy movement to the downside. So if your wave 4 is overlapping your wave 1, then you need to start thinking of, you know, diagonals, which in this case, you know, you would have to go with a contracting one. But then your wave 5 was longer than your wave 3. So there's without a doubt a problem here. You know, this is not nice for an impulse. Okay? Even though if it were to be an impulse, this is your wave 1, wave 1, 2, 1. Okay, you need to find your 2 right now. What the heck is this? What the heck is all of this noise? This is extremely corrective, choppy range. You know, if we are looking at the last lower high in the next movement down, what the heck is all of this? You know, if you're going to label this as your lower high from this pivot, as your wave 2, and this is your wave 1, this is, how long is this, guys? You know, this is over 5-6 times longer than your wave, this small little wave 1. I mean, it's not possible. Let's leave it that way. It is possible, but it's just silly. It's silly long. And this movement down, we have a problem to count it as an impulse, as a leading move to the downside. So yeah, this counts better as a double zigzag, you know, some kind of a 3-wave corrective structure. And if this is your leading move down, and this is your say your last lower high from this pivot, you know, if you're forming a complex kind of WXY, you know, there is a problem here. Again, it is time. Time is important. Time gives you the advantage of probabilities. And if you have your wave 2 6 times longer, okay, than your wave 1, you're looking at something else here getting developed. You're looking at something else. Maybe it might be this. Maybe it might be this. So this is why we give the highest probability on those scenarios since last week. Okay, let's just say that this is your wave 1. This is your correction, right? Let's just imagine that you have a zigzag up here. You have another zigzag move down. I mean, yeah, that's not possible. It'd have to be this one. And then you have a flat right over here. There we go. There you got a WXY right over here. That's a possible count. Here's where it's looking, you know, time is a problem at the moment, right? This is extremely long compared to your impulse. So if we're going to label this as your wave 2 or your wave B, and there is something that is really disturbing from this movement down, guys. I will go through that later on. We need to go with, okay, that's the end of your correction. You got a complex sideways WXY in this structure. You got a zigzag up in your wave W, a kind of a, you know, zigzag down here in your wave X, and your wave Y is a flat, right? This last little bit is a flat to form your Y wave. So yeah, let's just imagine that this is your wave 1 or your, you know, it doesn't matter, your wave 1 or your wave A, right? Right over here. I hope I'm not in the middle. Let me just double check. Right, let's move. The most bearish case scenario, which, you know, is extremely unlikely, guys. I'm just having fun talking about it, just for the bears so they can jerk off. We would be looking at some kind of a double 1-2 here, right? It's crucial to form a lower high, you know, from 119.5k, which is the highs of Thursday. I mean, this is the chance, guys. You know, let's leave it on. This is the chance for the bears to really, you know, form a lower high in this zone and break down successfully in a wave 3, 4, 5, right? And you just really double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You really get to 112, 110k. You are hitting the point of control of this entire range, the highest volume node of the range of the last, you know, 20 days, give or take, maybe, you know, 15 days. Sorry, my bad. 15 days. Yeah, this is resistance. If this is going to be your wave 2 or your wave B, and we get a aggressive ABC move to the downside, as mentioned, there is a time problem for this to be your wave B or your wave 2 right over here. Preferably corrective waves are longer in time and not your impulsive moves, okay, corrections, which would be wave 2s and wave 4s. So, you know, preferably it is a B wave more than a wave 2. For the most bearish case, wave 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, you need to form a lower high here in the next coming hours. I don't see this, guys. I personally don't see this. A lower high right there. The moment you claim this high, we've talked about it anyway. The probabilities are higher to take out all-time high at some stage, and that you are in a corrective range, and that a successful breakdown beneath 115k is unlikely. But just for the bearish case, we are at resistance. You know, a lower high is very much needed here for the bears to really kick in throughout the next coming hours. So, you know, for all of those bears right now, you realize that you are at a crucial good resistance where we could get a rejection of $1,000 or $2,000, right? Maybe. I mean, that's the bearish case scenario, which I think is highly unlikely. I have a little bit of a problem here with this movement down that we had on Friday. There is one leg to the downside that I do not like one single bit, And we can zoom in on the lower time frames here just to analyze that movement down, which, you know, I was checking it yesterday, and I didn't like how we finished down here. You know, I think it's a poor low. This retracement as well to get that higher low hit the 0.88 Fibonacci. That is really not good to start a major impulse to the upside, guys, I have to say. So I am a little bit in doubt that we could potentially revisit the lows, guys, just because of what we formed in this area. What we formed in this area is, you know, how we claimed this low over here. I would just have to come with the idea that, you know, we are looking at a 5-wave structure here. 1, 2, 3, you know, 4 and 5. You know, there is a little bit of an issue here, because from this peak here, we formed a 3-wave move down, which automatically tells me that a flat is you know, was very much possible. Flat, and then the next leg down, and then we move to the upside. A higher low here at the 0.88 is not the greatest for a wave 2, I have to say. You know, when you hit the 0.88, it's just not a nice level. So is there still a way that we get down to 115k, claim those lows, 114k, fill the CME gap, and get a bounce? You know, I have to say, eventually it is possible. It is possible. I'm just not a huge fan. I would really lean on the side that the low could be in here. You know, as mentioned, you know, the low could be in. I just don't like the way how we finished in this zone. Preferably, we would have got this bounce, claim the lows again, and then you have a 5-wave move to the downside to complete that WXY. And your Y wave has formed a flat A, B, and C, right? And you form a kind of a proper 5-wave structure to the downside. It would have been nice to see this, right? A double bottom situation here on Friday, and then get this bounce. And that would be, for me, I would be very, very confident that the low could definitely be in already. I do think that the low could be in, especially with this bounce, especially reclaiming the value area low of this entire trading zone. I just don't like how we formed this low. Okay, just something that I wanted to point out there. So yeah, in a nutshell, the movement down right now is going to be very interesting. The movement that we do get down, as we are hitting resistance, I do expect some kind of a leg down here, potentially from this level, guys. Whoever wants to go short, you know, we are at resistance. We have had a slow grind to the upside in the last 24 hours. And, well, not even that, right? We would say about 15 hours from the lows. We had a slow grind. We've had a slow grind to the upside. No, actually more than that. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, 24 hours. Some kind of a contracting diagonal here, or even an impulse, right? It doesn't need to be a contracting diagonal, because you haven't overlapped with your wave 4 and your wave 1. I don't like too much this higher low. I have to say, it hit the 0.88 Fibonacci. It is very rare for the wave 2s. Smash up that like button, legends. I'm losing my voice here. Smash up the like button, because we're just going through local structure. But what's going to be very interesting is the movement down, guys. You know, if we're going to start moving down very aggressively, you know, then we want to sit on our hands without a doubt. But if we do, in the next 24 hours, this can be counted as an impulse. This can be counted as an impulsive move up, even though it's the weekend and the volume is low. The movement down from this zone is what's going to be interesting. you know, if we get a leg down throughout today, little bounce tonight, right, and then another leg down, right, we form a three-wave structure, and then, you know, we find support, give or take, we find support at the value area low of this entire trading zone, right? Just, you know, just imagine if I need to imagine to build up how the price could develop, right? Maybe it actually tries to fake out from that value area low, and the moment that the third wave starts overlapping this pivot and this pivot is the moment that the probabilities increase to take out the highs and potentially go to higher levels. So, you know, it's trying to detect the movement down to be a pullback, right? A three-wave, some kind of a corrective structure, and then, you know, get that leg to the upside. It does make sense to get the rejection here. We have moved up in a bit of a five-wavy move, right? It is a bit five-wavy. It does make sense that we could reject from this zone, claim 117k potentially. We are getting resistance at the point of control, right? But you know, as mentioned, the probabilities on the higher time frame still lean for the bulls to take out all-time high, and a successful breakdown beneath 115k is unlikely. Doesn't mean that you could not hit 114k or 113k. Absolutely, you could fill the gap if you wish, but the probabilities in breaking down, as we had the attempt on Friday, the probabilities in breaking down here is very, very low, guys. Very, very low, meaning that, you know, this eventually you are looking for a corrective structure, and finally at some point in the next coming days to take out all-time high. Not really much has to be discussed here on the price of Bitcoin. I mean, we're just looking at the possibility of the bearish case scenarios. Now, eventually that 1-2 is, you know, for this to be the impulse, this to be the WXY, and now you have a 1-2, 1-2. Well, eventually, you know, not a bad idea to get into some low leverage hedge short positions against the long positions, right? If you have any long positions like myself, many throughout many platforms, you kind of want to hedge as well, right? You kind of want to hedge. You want to feel protected at resistance zones, but I'm kind of feeling confident that, you know, the price will surge. So, I mean, you take that with a grain of salt. I'm in multiple different longs. I'm not sure. Let me know if you are feeling bearish, guys, in the comment section. I'm going to go through the comment section right now. Are you feeling bearish? Are you feeling bullish? Are you in longs? Are you in shorts? If you're not in positions already, make sure to learn before you trade, okay? If you don't use any of the exchanges, down below in the description, you got some awesome bonuses, guys. You do have bluffing, you do have weeks with some awesome bonuses. You got that in the pinned comment as well on weeks. Check it out. You got 20% cashback. You also have up to $30,000 deposit bonuses, 25% fee reduction, second link, sorry, for bluffing, fourth link for weeks, guys. And you have it in the pinned comment. We've got 𝗞𝗔 here. You clearly new to the game. Learn first, says 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍, my God. But normal leverage isn't interesting enough with $1. 3x, maybe 4x leverage max. We're talking about leverage here with 𝗞𝗔. We're going to go through some altcoins later on. Just want to let you know, for all of the people that are interested, we got, you know, good entries, good positions. We did talk about the short position in the Telegram, also in the Discord. We did talk about this short. We actually talked about a long entry. The position is good, right? If you say long right now, well, this is not the best level to long, but inside of the signals channel in the Telegram, I provide where I am entering new positions, what I'm doing with the current positions, all in text, guys. Mainly swing positions at the moment. If you're interested in that, make sure to sign up, guys. You got the first link to the Telegram down below if you are interested in that, guys. That's where I share my positions, what I am doing. And if anybody wants to join in, you can just join in with the first link down below to get more info on that. So not much more has to be said on Bitcoin here. I mean, the bearish case scenarios are just not looking too great. They're not looking too great, guys. You know, give me your opinion down below. And there was a lot of CME gap fillers throughout the previous videos and streams. Of course, we could fill the gap. Of course, we could form a lower high and fill it later on throughout the next 1 to 2 days. You know, it's still very much possible, but I'm overall higher time frame bullish, as explained in the previous videos and streams. I always used 400x if you are an Indian and you use X. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Andy, but you didn't understand anything. Just tell long or short, bro. Barack. Thanks, Andy, but I didn't understand anything. Barack. Well, you know, if you did take a look at some previous streams, you know, this drawing right over here, I mean, this is looking for all-time high eventually. The bounce happened already from that low that we mentioned in the last few days. This is a very, very common level to bounce, right? We gave the technical level. You need to very much be aware. If we, you know, this is a level to reject from. You take the decision or not. This is the point of control from this entire range. You take that decision if you want to short from here. We did move grinding up to the upside. It does make sense to get a leg down, okay? We are at resistance, so you take that with a pinch of salt. I'm not going to tell you if too long or short. You need to take those decisions. If you want to know what I am doing, you got the Telegram community, okay, where I'm providing the trading setups for Bitcoin mainly. I've got my analysts that provide different altcoin setups as well. So Andy's not here to feed with your a spoon. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mark. Mark Dutch here. Pac-Man, my brother. Much love to you, brother. We've got Pac-Man and 𝗬cie here, giving love, empower, the absolute legend moderators in the comment section. He's good at what he does. Obviously, you just don't get it. We do have, eventually, guys, I always support the people to educate themselves, right? Make sure to educate yourself. You know, there's lots of different crypto YouTubers and, you know, technical analysts, traders out there, supposedly. You need to educate yourself, because at the end of the day, you cannot rely on people forever on your setups, on your analysis, on your trading. We do have education as well, guys, which you can find information, you know, joining the Telegram. I always say educate yourself, do it on your own, guys, because it's your education, it's your future finance, and it's the best way to go at the end of the day. Andy, besides 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍 and Fibonacci, what do you think about the current money flow? I'm not a money flow fan, okay? I'm not a money flow fan. I don't use money flow based on, I'm not sure if you were talking about market cipher and all of that. I think they're kind of lagging indicators. They can give you the overall higher time frame projection of the money flow. I mainly look at CVD divergence. I take a look at delta sometimes, right? The order flow, just because you realize how many people are shorting at a support level. This was mentioned on yesterday's video, and I just quickly talked about this on yesterday's video. It's too many shorts piling up here at the 15K level, which is at support. There's too many CME gap fillers out there, which they want to take profit or they want to long after filling the gap. So when you go with that theory, you're probably not going to fill the gap, because too many eyes are looking at the gap. Too many people that are shorting want to take profit once the gap is filled. So shorts want to take profit here after the gap is filled. And people that want to long, they want to long after the gap is filled. So, you know, it's a theory where most are going to be out of the market. Most will not participate in the next move. Most will not participate. because shorts want to take profit after the gap fill. Well, they're going to get out of the position, and the people that want to long this range, they want that gap to be filled first so they can participate in the movement to the upside. So that means that the shorts stay out of taking profit because the gap maybe is not going to get filled, and the longs will miss the move. It's just a simple psychological theory here, guys, okay? Doesn't always work, but you get the point, right? My dream is how to escape from India. My goodness, baby whale. Didn't recognize you without a wrench. Jack, my man, J Jack. Do you think there is a probability people getting out of BTC to get into altcoins? Well, that is where we have the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has been providing a pretty interesting leg to the downside throughout the previous weeks. And we did get some altcoins getting a nice little bounce. Some of them making a 2x, some of them making a 4x, others making a 1.5x, right? Just getting a little bounce. I think money will go back into Bitcoin eventually. It always does. It always does. There has been some fear throughout Friday purely based on the well, this is one topic right over here, which is 𝗖𝗍 Digital selling over 70,000 Bitcoin already out of 80,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 left. This is pretty insane. I wouldn't, I'm pretty surprised that 𝗖𝗍 Digital has sold most of their Bitcoin. And I think that created a little bit of that panic move to the downside to sweep up the lows of the range. But overall, we are seeing big institutions, ready to buy more Bitcoin, right? MicroStrategy with another 20,000 Bitcoin. Mara 7,000, 7,500 right over here. We can see already Wall Street banking giant Citi predicts Bitcoin could hit 199k. We're probably not going to hit that right now, as we get these big institutions, calling for 200k in this cycle. We're probably not going to hit 200k in this cycle. Whale bets 23.7 million on 200k BTC as well, right? We are seeing bets right now on Deribit about Bitcoin hitting 200k. We are seeing Citibank talk. When you get these institutions going with these targets for the bull run, it's probably unlikely that we are going to hit these levels in this cycle, unfortunately. When you start seeing big institutions, these big bets, right, that we're going to get to 200k, it's the start of warning signs. It's the major start of warning signs. I do see eventually Bitcoin heading to 130k and 140k, depending on how we move on the charts. We are looking for some more impulsive moves to the upside to get developed, right? For the moment, we are leaning on this scenario. We are bullish. We are moving impulsively. And since this correction down here, we are moving impulsively, we are moving down correctively, we are moving up impulsively, we are moving down correctively. So till we do not get a strong leg to the downside, higher we go, right? This could be a double 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, back 3, right? We just continue the bull run and go to 130, 140, 150. The momentum is up. We have no signs of weakness. So we need information day by day on what the chart is telling us. And as soon as the market provides a strong leg to the downside of $10,000, $15,000, where you have strong volume and big impulsive moves down, first signs of major selling pressure, that is the moment that I would, consistently say, I'm bearish on Bitcoin. I'm bearish on Bitcoin. I think the bear market is in already, guys. We're probably going to go to lower levels. We'll be talking about short positions. We'll be talking about lower, but we haven't got that information. So as we only have bullish information, I need to stick bullish on the higher time frame. Tops at 140, 145k for BTC, says Jay Wills. I think it's silly to give major top targets right? You can have some Fibonacci projections, but I think it's, you know, we are in very bullish market trend. We could be in, you know, an expanding wave 5 where you wave 3, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, and you just expand here. We're in price discovery, having major target zones. We have multiple impulsive moves throughout the previous weeks and months. 1.618 extension is at 130k from this movement, so maybe we get a bit of rejection right over there, but it's still impulsive. As long as we don't break down impulsively, we are still very much in bullish. So giving these targets of 200k or 170k or 140k is pretty pointless. I'm not here to sell at the top, guys. I sold over 25% of my crypto. Anybody that is a legit follower from a long time ago does know that I sold publicly in this bounce. In this bounce, I said to all of my viewers, I am getting out with over 25% of my crypto here. I did ride the rest down, okay? Should have taken more profits. But that was purely based on the sign of weakness. We had a distribution here. I will find that live stream, a few live streams here from 2021, guys. And I was bullish. And this is the area that I was like, you know, yeah, I was looking at bullish scenarios, but that is the moment that you want to get out. And this was purely based on the market structure breakdown. Higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low right there. This is not good. And we had a classic Wyckoff distribution right over here where volume was increasing on the legs down on multiple exchanges. When you are in an uptrend and you have high volume, selling pressure, volume increasing on the movements to the downside, that is the moment that you are concerned about the uptrend, and you're literally gonna top out very, very soon here. And it was just the break of structure here and the bounce just to get out, which is, it's kind of perfect when you consider the cheat sheet, guys. You know, it's a perfect explanation of the cheat sheet, right? Where you do have that you know, euphoria stage, you break structure and you get the complacency, right? Where you just get that bounce, and people are like, yeah, it doesn't matter, it was only a correction. This was the kind of bounce that happened once you broke structure here on Bitcoin. You're moving up, boom, leg down, that's breaking structure, and you get the relief rally to get out. You get that relief rally to get out, which is literally this relief rally. This relief rally is to get out. Anybody that understands, you know, market structure, that's where you fuck up. That's when you know that things are looking bad, when you have the selling pressure, you know, obviously being strong and you're not breaking the high successfully, right? And when you take a look at a Wyckoff distribution as well, this played out pretty nicely, where you form, you know, the 3 peaks, the famous 3 peaks. You're not breaking all-time high successfully, right? You're just touching the highs, and then eventually you get the breakdown. You know, it was a textbook Wyckoff distribution here that happened back in 2021. Yes, we came up to all-time high again, but it didn't go much higher, right? We didn't go much higher than that. This is when altcoins really rallied, guys. Altcoins really took off in Q3, Q4 of 2021. We have literally not much to say about Bitcoin. In the range, bullish, in longs provided in the Telegram. What can we say? What can we say? This is one scenario that I think that could be developing right now. Undercover, Andy can't hide from his own shade. You're damn right, my man. 𝗬cie, much love to you, brother. Let's go right away through some altcoins, right? Shall we do a little bit of altcoin analysis, legends? Let's see how many likes we do have, because I literally suck at like button, guys. Okay, the like button is really, really bad, even though we give the higher time frame projections and we very much analyze the situation and we talk about the possible moves, right, that could happen on the price of Bitcoin. Let's see how many likes we do have, guys. I'm just refreshing this to see how many likes we do have. I'm gonna quickly take a hike. Make sure to destroy the like button. Let me know if we are still streaming here in the comment section. Yes, we are still streaming. Wow, guys, let's try and get to 300 likes. I'm going to take a hike, then I'm going through comment section, and we're going to be talking about different altcoins, your favorite altcoins, try and analyze if we do get a nice projection. Some people saying, are we long, or, you know, where shall we long or short, guys? If you paid attention on the previous videos, there was a shorting area at 120k. This was provided in the Telegram. With this drawing, you know very much where we could get that bounce. That is 115k, that higher low with a higher volume. You know, it's higher time frame, high probability analysis, guys. Levels to perfection. If you're looking for scalp day trade scenarios, you know, it can be very noisy and very choppy, right? If you're shorting or longing in this zone and you're just looking for little movements of $1,000 to $2,000, you need to take profits, right? Short, take profits, guys, because you're probably going to get that high taken. You know, I'm looking for bigger swings, so that's only my style at the moment, as I am away. I'm not home. But let's go in, smash up that like, guys. Let's get to 300 likes, and it's time for comment section, okay? I'm just going to quickly take a hike. And when I come back, let's try and get that like button to 300, and then it's comment section, I promise. All right, let's go. Comment section time. Altcoins, make sure to drop them in. People rather want to leave the stream than smashing up the like button. It's insane. Jack the Beagle Inu, 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍, Pac-Man, still here, brother. Much love to you guys. Take a hike for the like. Exactly, take a hike for the like. You need to leave the stream to see if the like button is getting destroyed or not. No pants stream. Yeah, I was just... What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Am I pantless? Okay, do I have pants on or pants off? Let me know. Get your votes in right now in the comment section. Andy's having a poo quick. Smash the like button. Okay, let's get some altcoins, guys. I just have a few altcoins. Mainly one that I've been buying, guys, throughout the last few weeks. Even a couple of months. Is ICP. You know, I do like ICP. On the chart, it looks amazing. This is, you know, spot, mainly spot. I do see ICP bottoming out in this zone. There is a chance for it to hit the lows one more time. It's either up from here or hit the lows again, and up we go, guys. So this is like an investment for the next coming months if we consider spot trading, right? And ICP for me, just in simple analysis, higher time frame, guys. Don't want to go too into detail. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 looks good on the weekly. Let's take a look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 right away. Let's take a look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. Why not? Let's go. Get your altcoins in, guys, here. Because Bitcoin, not much. Yeah, I think Bitcoin 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 is in an awesome zone of accumulation. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽's still a good project. It's just got that disbelief rally that's caught everybody with their pants down, right? Disbelief. Bear market, disbelief rally. And this is the one, guys. This is the one. This is the one where we should be getting a massive recovery in the next coming weeks, months, right? This is the classic disbelief rally, right? Hype everybody up on Google Trends, right? Get everybody to get in, right? Where was this? Yeah, also the first, November, December of 2024. Look at this, guys. This is pretty insane. It's actually entertaining for the people that know what they're doing. The amount of people that have no clue are jumping in here. Look at Google Trends. All the people wanting to buy crypto, buy altcoins. Altcoins, buy. Q1 of 2024. Look at all of the, this is happening again, guys, of course. But I do expect this being the one that retail gets in. And then eventually, it's time to get out in the next coming months. I don't like this, guys. When I see Google Trends, when altcoins are spiking up here, altcoin search, it's just not a good sign. But when you take a look at many altcoins, that a lot of them are at the bottom level still. Okay, so the retail buying pressure hasn't really kicked in. But look at this, Q1 of 2024 and Q4 of 2024. When you take a look at theta, you have it right over here. Bang and bang, right? That's when research on Google Trends was very much hyping up. They were getting in here on the pumps. So, yeah, it's just that disbelief rally, right? It does happen on the cycle. On the previous cycle, we do have other coins such as ADA that also created that disbelief rally. If you do take a look at ADA, back in 2019, right, 2018, you had that disbelief rally in the middle as well. Look at this. Right, you got a major bear market, major bear market. This is the weekly chart, guys. You have a little bit of a disbelief rally, back down, and then this is where it starts. Of course, in the middle we had the C19 crash, and this is what we always want to be aware of, right? Of a massive sudden crash, which would mark the bottom. If we had a black swan event in the next 1 to 2 months, guys, I would say that it is the best opportunity to buy in, but you just can't predict the black swans, right? World War III, COVID 2.0, right? You have a lot of speculation on different things, right? That could happen, but we're not here to speculate on that. Of course, without pants, prize goes to you, my man. Let's take a look at Doge. Wow, 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍, ICP, AVAX, Baby Genius. Too many altcoins here, my man. Gambles outside of too many altcoins. The rest, the big boys. Yeah, without a doubt, you want to have most of your investment in high caps such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽 is a good one. 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝗽, definitely, the main reason why 𝗖𝗍𝘆𝘽 has really popped off is because it's the easiest blockchain to build on, right? Please, let's take a look at some meme coins, guys. Doge, eventually, with that nice rally. Nice rally that it's had throughout the previous weeks. Just testing those highs. In my opinion, Doge is really going to fly. In my opinion, Doge is just getting ready. It could form a double 1-2 here, which is just ready to take off. It does look pretty damn good on Doge to really get the next leg to the upside. Currently bouncing here at those highs, at that value area high here, high volume node from this consolidation, where it could be providing good support throughout the next coming days. Form a bit of a wedgie structure, and then off we go. Dog with hat. I ain't gonna do flashy technical analysis on these cryptos. Yeah, WIF. We did talk about WIF about a week ago, and very much confident that we are going to take out the May highs, okay, on WIF, which is sitting at $1.40 almost. Ever since we were trading in this zone, it does look a good grind here to the upside. I think it's just a matter of time that Dog with hat really pops out and takes out the May highs, okay? Bullish structure. Big correction, bottoming out here in a wedge. Nice impulsive move, nice correction. Taking out these highs is imminent in my opinion, which is likely going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Could be forming a nice cup and handle kind of structure here, and it's just a double 1-2, 1, 2, 3. You get the pop to the upside. Okay, taking out those highs is imminent in my opinion throughout the next coming weeks. We're going to have to see how we explode out, right? Because could we just pop out here and then that's it? It ends up in a three-wave structure. We need power here on the breakout. That's the moment that we need to analyze the situation on these different altcoins. We need the breakout. We need the pop correction. This looks good, guys, for higher. It looks good for higher, guys. We're correcting. It looks good for higher. You know, boom, 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 bam, bam. This still looks corrective. It still looks good, guys, for higher, right? And we just continue the momentum till it actually boom, 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 bang, right? And it forms a big 5-wave structure to the downside. And that, you know, dead cat bounce situation. Okay, guys, it's time to get out, right? So we're just going to have to go with what the market is providing us with the information here. And I hope you like that Picasso drawing on whiff. But, you know, the main reason why, as we mentioned last week on whiff, you know, high probability that we take out the highs is because we're looking for at least a 3-wave structure. And, you know, a lot of the meme coins, high cap meme coins, already took out the May highs, such as Pengu, right? Pengu is one of them that actually blasted out here throughout the last couple of weeks. Yeah, we're going to... What's Fala looking like? Fala is looking awesome, guys. This is, you know, one of that I do have in my portfolio. I think Fala is just in a beautiful, beautiful range. Beautiful range here that I do see it, you know, really taking off at some stage. You know, it's just in the accumulation stage, right? Me, this area is accumulation area, right? It can take months, weeks, right? And it just ends up with that blast off, right? But you make sure to take the profits when you are already up, you know, 3-4x. This was the strategy throughout last year. Take out these highs, guys. I'm out with 50%. My investment and profits, I'm out, guys. I'll leave a moon bag. Moon bag is back at entry. Well, it doesn't matter. I've made money on this. So, you know, when I see this zone here, especially on Fala Network, which is an awesome project, it's just a great accumulation area, in my opinion. You know, make sure to take those profits, though, where, you know, people are greedy. People are greedy and they want higher and they do not collect profits. And, you know, this was a zone to take profits if you bought here when we mentioned it. Just did a 4x. But a lot of the cryptos back in, you know, 2024, you know, Q1 of 2025, well, that was, most of them were moving down there. November, December, a lot of people were, you know, a 4x is nothing, a 3x is nothing, you know, a 5x is nothing in crypto. Well, hey, hold it back down again to your levels, right, that you did buy. And most of them did get an epic correction throughout Q1 and part of Q3 of 2025, right? So we are greedy in crypto. We want those 50x's, right? Let's wake up, guys, once and for all. And if the market gives you a 3-4x, make sure to collect your investment out at least, right? You still got Flux. I also got Flux as well. I need to check my altcoin portfolio. I've got it distributed throughout a few wallets, and I need to do a little bit of an overview of my crypto portfolio. But I think I've got just over 20 altcoins, guys. I got them distributed. But I wanted to check this one. Yeah, I mean, this one coming down beneath the bear market lows is like Flux is an awesome project also. You know, when you dip down and you consolidate beneath the previous lows, and you don't have much selling pressure, this is likely going to wedge out. It's going to wedge out here. It is wedging out already. And, you know, at some point it's going to get that pop. So you want to be positioned already on these altcoins. Flux is an awesome project. I do think it's going to participate in the altcoin season. It's just a matter of time. Guys, not much more. I'm mainly a Bitcoin trader. I like to buy altcoins on spot, and I just have them in the dust, guys, till they recover, right? I'm really not a fan of, you know, that. Buy these altcoins and get rich, guys. We trade Bitcoin. Bitcoin is where we, you know, make the money, guys. We, you know, swing long on Bitcoin throughout multiple exchanges. And, you know, I'm a Bitcoin trader, really, right? Altcoin, I'm a crypto investor. And I buy altcoins just for the long term, as most of people know here. But we mainly make the money on Bitcoin trading. Umbrella also, I think Umbrella is you know, really bottoming out throughout the the last few months. We did break the range lows. We did break those range lows. I think this is a nice bottom formation, you know, dipping down the lows here, breaking down the lows, and bottoming out here is, you know, that's the new zone for accumulation. You need to take these with a pinch of salt. These low cap cryptos from the previous cycle, you know, you need to take them with a pinch of salt. Not everything is going to recover massively. Diversify your crypto portfolio, because there will be a lot of them that will not perform as you wish, guys. Okay, it's just it's crypto. It's the wild west, right? Chainlink, my biggest altcoin holding, and I'm going to take profits on Chainlink as soon as we break $30, guys. And I'm pretty confident that we are going to be getting above $30, and that's because of the information that we had throughout the last few months. This confirmed that it is a corrective structure. There's no major impulse. There's lots of overlap, and it is a confirmation that it's a corrective move, meaning that we either form a double 1-2 and we blast off in a third wave, or we form an expanding diagonal, which are rare patterns, right? And you peak out here, but very confident that we are at least going to get above $30, and that's when I'm going to start DCAing out, guys. Even on the pumps, I don't care. I'm going to start DCAing out. I've been holding Chainlink since 2019. I've been accumulating here like crazy on the channel publicly. I've just had enough, guys. I'm happy with a 6-7x on Chainlink, and I will leave a moon bag eventually for all-time high if that happens, right? You know, I think this is where I'm going to make significant money, guys. As explained, it's my biggest altcoin holding, and most of the accumulation happened throughout this 22-23 period, okay, which is mentioned very publicly. It's only up about 3x, guys, from this zone, but I mean, come on, 3x in 2 years, that's pretty okay. But people are really hunting for the 100x's, right? Which is, you know, it's a very difficult game plan. Umbrella looks even worse than DOT. Yeah, I know it does. You know, Umbrella is a small percentage of my portfolio. It's something like 1% or not even that. But Polkadot has been a terrible performer throughout this bull run. Very bad. But this is the zone of recovery, right? This is the zone where, as mentioned, likely to wedge out here, and get the pop. Polkadot is still a good project. It's just been a bad performer. It's like a lot of people have forgotten about Polkadot. There's so many cryptos, guys. You know, for me, it's a headache. Just have a diversification of different ones, right? And I'm here to trade Bitcoin mainly, which is where I make most of my gains. What can I say? You know, we want to trade Bitcoin. Trading is the way, guys, even though a lot of people say leverage trading is not the way. If you know how to leverage trade, you can make insane amount of gains. Just know exactly where you need to get in. Know exactly the projections. Know exactly where to get in. And, you know, you can make bank on these, you know, with good leverage, good risk management. Leverage is definitely the way to go. Trading is the way to go. If you are, you know, if you've been buying altcoins throughout the previous years, regardless Polkadot or whatever, you know, unless you got a meme coin or Pengu, right, or OM before the crash, which had an insane bull run, and you took profits, lots of people just end up holding bags, guys. Holding bags. You bought Polkadot here and you wrecked. You bought it here, you waited 4 years, 3 years, and you're still at the base. You know, if you want to make money, you need to trade. If you're holding a bag, then, you know, you might be a bag holder for the rest of your life. So educate yourself, get into trading responsibly, and that's where the money can be made. Follow legit people that have track record, that provide solid levels, you know, especially big swing levels, right? Such as this one, and profit from the market, guys. What can we say? Legends, it is Saturday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you very much for smashing that like button. Let's get to over 300 likes. If you are using other bigger exchanges that are asking for information The best ones right now currently is Bluffin and Weeks, guys. You only need an email and a password to sign up, and you got the biggest perks down below in the description. Bluffin, 20% cashback. Weeks, also 20% cashback and 25% fee cut. And no information is provided, okay? Email and password. If you want more information on the trading setups that I am looking at, you need to join the Telegram, guys. That's where the magic happens, okay? Discord or the Telegram community, Legends community. You got all of the info with the first link down below. That is where I provided my last Bitcoin trading setup. Of course, this was a very good entry entered here. It's provided with information, with guidance. What can we say? There you have it. Legends, thank you very much for joining, and I will see you in the next one.